United States agenda will primarily feature a neoliberal, fiscally conservative type of agenda in terms of our economics and what we're doing here at home to truly help the people. Because Joe Biden has picked Neera Tanden to be the director of the Office of Management and Budget, the OMB, and this is a devastating pick because she's a neoliberal, fiscally conservative, pro-austerity corporate hack. She was the president of Center for American Progress, and this is a neoliberal, pro-austerity think tank. They don't understand regular, everyday people. They just don't get it. This is the Barack Obama style of politics. This is the Bill Clinton style of politics. Like I said, centrism in the terms of the Republican eye, the Republican view, and the thought of winning over that neocon, winning over that neoliberal, winning over that H.W. Bush type of Republican.
Right. So she goes, we have a giant deficit. They have a lot of oil. Most Americans would choose not to engage in the world because of that deficit. If we want to continue to engage in the world, gestures like having oil-rich countries partially pay us back don't seem crazy to me. Do we prefer cuts to Head Start or WIC or Medicaid? Because we live in deficit politics, and that's what's going to be happening. Okay, so what she's trying to do there is say, guys, if we don't steal the oil from the countries that we invade, we're not going to be able to pay for, the welfare state to the extent we have it, right? We're not going to be able to pay for entitlements, which is a ridiculous statement. And that shouldn't, either way, it's a total deficit trolling, deficit hawking statement. But either way, even if that were true, that's not how you compensate for it. You're not like, well, we'd like to have some programs here, so we're going to have to kill a bunch of brown people abroad and then steal their oil. Right. And I'm a Democrat, and I run a big Democrat, liberal think tank. So, of course, I'm advocating for bombing countries and stealing their oil.
This is why Joe Biden has nominated Neera Tanden. She's going to propel and keep up the upper echelon in our society already. And she's merely going to forget about the people because she's a fiscally conservative, pro-austerity economic mind.
Pushed for Social Security cuts throughout his career, announced his selection of Center for American Progress President Neera Tanden as his choice to run the powerful White House Office of Management and Budget. A longtime aide to Hillary Clinton, Tanden touted her think tank's 2010 proposal to reduce Social Security benefits in 2012 as Biden was pushing for such cuts in the Obama administration.
To take us deeper into entitlements by Twitter, Ms. Tanden, do you know what the president means when he says entitlements are on the table? Any specifics and anything you would endorse?
Yeah, I mean, so there are a range of entitlements that, I think when we're talking about entitlements, we're talking about Medicare, Social Security, Medicaid. These are programs that people receive support because of the status that they have. So when after 65, you get funding from Social Security and Medicare. Actually, it's getting older for Social Security, but the president has $300 billion in his budget in cuts in Medicare. That comes on top of cuts in Medicare from the Affordable Care Act. So he has put specific cuts in the budget already in Medicare, and they had savings in Medicaid in the past. I think the question really is, if we're going to have a deal to address long-term deficit reduction, we need to put both entitlements on the table as well as taxes. It's unfair to ask only middle-class Americans to bear the burden of our deficits. Middle-class Americans actually didn't create the deficits. So I think the challenge is that we should have entitlements on the savings, on the entitlements, and the Center for American Progress has put forward ideas on proposals to reform the beneficiary structure of Social Security. Some of our progressive allies aren't as excited about that as we are, but we've put those ideas on the table. But we think that those are legitimate ideas that need to be put part of a proposal where everyone's at the table.
So this is what she merely represents. Like I said, pro-austerity, fiscally conservative politics in terms of our economics in our country. This is why Biden's administration will be primary. This is exactly why. Nominating the status quo, keeping up and propelling the upper echelon in society plutocracy. The plutocracy of the Democratic Party at the forefront, basically. That's the type of politics Biden represents, nominating people like Neera Tanden.
The push followed the 2010 midterms. During the deficit reduction negotiations between the Obama administration and the new GOP Congress, Republicans drew a hard line, but Obama sought a middle ground. Of course he did. Central to the administration's efforts, which were led by Biden, was a plan called the chained CPI that would have slowed the rate at which Social Security benefits increase over time. In a report on Social Security solvency, the Center for American Progress, again, this is Neera Tanden's think tank, released 2 years earlier. The organization cautioned that Social Security is showing its age and warned that progressive ideas like lifting the payroll tax without addressing other problems in Social Security's benefit design would be a mistake. One of the solutions it proposed was the chained CPI.
It's a disgrace. They're a joke. This is why they will be primaried, and we have to have a successful primary, because after someone like Nina Turner wins in the 11th district of Ohio, she has to keep moving forward. People like her have to keep stepping up to the forefront of our progressive movement in order to take us over the finish line, because we're not going to have this. This is why we're having a debate in this country amongst progressives, amongst ourselves, on whether or not we can get Medicare for All passed. And there's proposals that the squad, that progressives in Congress, they withheld their votes from Nancy Pelosi voting for her if she doesn't pass Medicare for All. There's a great chance she won't vote for it, and she won't do it, even consider it in terms of passing with the legislation. A good chance she'll do that. There's a discussion of, do we want to go back to the Republicans? Because if we do that, she would lose the speakership. McCarthy would get the speakership. Kevin McCarthy in the House, the minority leader for the Republicans, he would become the speaker. Or do we want a Democrat? To me, it makes no difference. They're literally the same. They're both the same. It just matters in terms of a cultural sense, in terms of our everyday life, which is very important, which is why there's talks of restructuring the Supreme Court, but that's a different discussion for a different day. The discussion is, what do we really want? And how do we want to execute moving forward and abundantly? Nina Turner, she's going to activate and actually mobilize the Progressive Caucus in the United States House, truly push them to nominate someone to the left, to truly get different leadership, to get leadership change, to truly move America forward. Because we can't afford this. This is awful. This is horrendous what they're doing. Nancy Pelosi, she's been horrendous in terms of these COVID relief bills, when she could have accepted a bigger package months ago, but she admitted on tape that she merely did it because she wanted Donald Trump to lose the election. That way he couldn't take credit for it at all in any way, shape, or form. That just shows you the mentality of Nancy Pelosi. And during the pandemic, she's going on television showing off her ice cream collection. She was opening up her fridge and it was a tray inside of her refrigerator. She's opening that up, having an ice cream collection show, basically. And she wonders why her approval rating is lower than Donald Trump's. She wonders why. We get leadership change, we get Nancy Pelosi out of there, we'll truly start to have, hopefully, a brighter future in America, and truly start to get the type of America that we all deserve.